This one hidden DK resource won't just make you improve, it will change your gameplay entirely.
Time to blast!
Many who are looking to improve have spent hours on Warcraft logs. They offer so much data, it can be overwhelming to navigate and really hard to pick apart what's important to you and your gameplay.
God.
This one tool will take you from log analysis hell to DK analysis heaven. This is the DK log analyzer, where it gives you all the information you need so you can improve on one easy to read and clean screen. So let's break down everything this has to offer, and then I'll show you how to download and start using it yourself. First thing is the DK score. This is a 1 through 100 value on your performance strictly on your button pressing capabilities and your snapshot. This value takes away kill time and gear differences that you would normally run into comparing direct logs to others. This is a great way for tracking your progress and seeing if you improved each and every week. Additionally, it'll also show your DPS with a parsing value and your kill time with a value score compared against other people's raids. Comparing this with your DK score will finally give you proof that your parses suck because you're a raid, not you. This section breaks down your uptimes of all your abilities and stats. The tool gives your value a color based on if you're on target, close to target, or get a grip and press the damn button. All you gotta do is hover over the blue question mark and it'll show you the targets for each ability. This is where I spent the majority of my time using this tool, as I struggled with switching to blood presence and having a good D&D uptime. This section is pretty easy to digest. You either snapshotted a proc or you didn't. This is a good information to know if you need to improve your opener or not. Haste proc should be snapshotted on Army and should also be 100% uptime on Gary. If it's not, that means you're likely popping it when you first cast Gary and not waiting for the casting delay. This section is basically just to keep track of if your gold died and you didn't recast it. Additionally, the claw per minute is an indicator if you have macroed it to your major abilities or haven't turned off nah.
Easy peasy lemon squeezy.
This section is for your professions and your consumables, and if you're using all the little things to get that little bit more DPS on those bosses. The main focus I have here is the hyperspeed accelerators, because you want to use this as many times as this up. Last, but certainly not least, this is your cast breakdown for the whole fight. It can kind of get confusing if you're not exactly sure what you're looking at, so we're going to break down each thing individually so you know how to use it. Right, so this section is your cast time. This shows you when you cast your abilities and gives you a differential time between the previous cast. Your target is going to be 1.5 seconds, but if you're on Unholy Presence, it's 1 second. If you see a lot of red here, it means you're just behind on your ability uses and just start clicking faster. Alright, this is the abilities section. Not much to go over here, it's just the spell name of what you cast and the order that you cast them. RP stands for the runic power, and then this is keeping track of what you had at the time of cast. The main focus here is if you're constantly full on RP, you want to use more death coils. If you're constantly low, you want to try to fill with a bit more Horn of Winter or Bone Shield. Rune Drift is the time spent with the rune available before you used it. It's important to use runes as they come up the majority of the time. This is kind of flexible if you're waiting on D&D, but if you let the runes sit for too long, it can hurt you in multiple ways. Not only will it bring down your total cast, but it'll also lead to misaligned runes, but also Classic gives you a little grace period to use your runes, where you actually start working towards replacing the rune that you haven't even used yet. Speaking of runes, the rune section here will show you what runes you had available at the time of the ability cast. It's important to use your runes in groups of 3, so a frost rune, a plague rune, and a blood rune. And lastly, for the unholy side, buffs. This is basically just showing you how juiced up you are at the time of the cast. And I got a note here that RP, rune used, buffs, they would all apply to the next ability in the timeline. For example, my first Icy Touch here gained me 12 RP, used this frost rune, and procced greatness. Using all the information combined can show you where you made your mistakes, such as where you can replace one ability with another, didn't button mash hard enough, or just a general misinput.
Chill!
It was a misinput, calm down! You calm the fuck down!
Let's talk about the frost version of this tool. Now, I'm no frost expert, but I'll be providing you what you need to know to make your own inferences from the data. Frost is about clicking them buttons. The speed section shows if you're waiting too long to use your abilities with being slow off GCD. Additionally, it also provides you with your drift rune total, which could lead to the issues I discussed earlier on the unholy side. It also provides you with the amount of killing machine procs you use compared to the amount you received, and the average delay for when you use the proc. The faster you're able to use the killing machine, the faster you're able to get another one. For the rotation part, since I'm no Frost DK, I can't provide you the ins and outs on how to play Frost. But if you're not hitting your marks on these next steps, my tip is to practice your rotation, but I'll break down the basics. Obliterate is your highest damage cast, so if you're not reaching over 13, practice your rotation. Your 2-piece uptime. Bloodstrike is naturally in your rotation, so you shouldn't be desicking anymore. So if you're not hitting your mark, practice your rotation. Unbreakable armor window. This is your high damage window, and it's important to squeeze as many obliterates you can. So if you're not hitting your mark, you guessed it, practice your rotation. Alright, I'll stop. Diseases falling off isn't ideal, unless the boss is about to die, as Icy Touch and Plague Strike don't do a lot of damage, so it's important to Pestilence when you're able to. Raised Dead should be casted during your opener / during Lust. Howling Blast should only be used during Rhyme or AoE of 3 targets or more. Just make sure you're aware of your procs and ad count when using this ability. This next section is basically the same as Unholy Side, besides the potions. It is far more important to pre-pot as Frost, as Indestructible lasts for a long while and is a DPS increase. Lastly, we have the cast breakdown, where the only difference is the new proc used section, which will show you when you use the proc. You can see exactly when you receive the buff on the ability timeline. To start using the tool is pretty simple. It's just a click of a button. I'll have the link for the extension for both Chrome and Firefox in the description. Just go there, click download, and you're done. To see the data, go to World of Warcraft logs and find the fight you want to analyze. Proceed to the damage done tab and click your name. Once you do that, you'll see a new tab pop up right next to the analyze section. All you gotta do is click that and you'll start improving yourself.